What's going on, 49er faithful, 49er fam, 49er gang? This is your boy Niner Gang Podcast back in the building. So definitely hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on the post notifications so I can keep you up to date on any and everything NFL and San Francisco 49ers. With that being said, let's get right on into it. What's good with you, M? Man, I'm gonna get into that, hence the title. I am beyond baffled at what has been going on in the NFL lately. Definitely, trying to figure out exactly what I was reading and trying to make sure it's real because it was reported, but it has not been reported. It's definitely something that I saw, and I'll read it from my phone because I know one of my guys had this pulled up. Per Adam Schefter, blockbuster trade. Blockbuster. Packers are trading Pro Bowl wide receiver Davante Adams to the Las Vegas Raiders for two prime 2022 picks. League sources tell ESPN. Now, I ain't seen nothing from ESPN that's told me that oh, no, my bad. Packers are trading wide receiver Davante Adams. He is signing a new 5-year, $141 million contract. 141 million, 141 million.25 to be exact. That is insane. Like, I don't even understand that, man. Like, that man making $28.2 million a year. That's just, I don't even know what to say. And I'm going to tell you right now, I love Deebo Samuel. We are not paying you $28 million, sir. That's just what we're not going to do. I'm sorry. I love Davante Adams. That's still look, man. He reset the receiver market in ways you can't imagine. So the next up-and-coming guy behind Davante Adams is going to need, he's going to come in asking for a serious bag. That man getting $28 million a year. That is flat out absolutely insane. And like I said, I love Deebo Samuel. I think he is one of the greatest players on our squad. And, so far he's had a great tenure as a 49er. But $28 million, sorry, don't do it. 22, you're pushing it. 23, I don't know about all that. 28, I'm going to have to look at you and respectfully decline. Say hell to the no. That's not going to work. Yes, he is well beyond the top paid receiver right now. 28 mil? Yeah, you definitely better be the top receiver in the league, man. So what I wanted to do with this video real quick was just kind of go over some of the free agency moves that's been happening around the league and let y'all know what the hell has been going on, man, because there's a lot. And then I'm going to be on the show later with my boy Brandon Christian and the homie 49er Minded, a.k.a. Bashar. We're going to be on the Forever Faithful podcast a little bit later today, so go ahead and tune in for that too. But let's get into what's been going on, man, because I'm going to give y'all a little bit from teams and whatnot. I got Adam Schefter's Twitter pulled up as well, so we can take a look and see what the hell's been going on. But that man got $141 million out of the Raiders. The number one thing I'm going to say is the AFC West is going to be overly competitive. Overly competitive. You have Derek Carr, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Patrick Mahomes. Those four quarterbacks alone, just those four quarterbacks are top tier guys, save for maybe Derek Carr. You know what I'm saying? I would say he's at least a top 20, but I wouldn't put him in the top 10. He's probably at least a top 20. And the man can throw the ball. So now you pair Davante Adams with Hunter Renfrow? I'm just saying. And it confuses the hell out of me because I thought that Tay and Aaron didn't want to break apart. Like, that was a marriage that they just definitely didn't want to dissolve. But the craziest thing is now what happens with those picks that they receive? Do you go out and get offensive line help to make sure you keep Aaron Rodgers upright? Or do you go get another receiver? Because now you're left with, dang, nobody really. Because Valdez-Scantling is technically a free agent. Devontae Adams has now been traded to the Raiders. So all you have is Randall Cobb, Amari Cooper, and Alan Lazard. That's not going to cut it. And he had, like, you got to remember, man, when you build a relationship with a receiver, the chemistry can become undeniable. So you had Tay, and now that chemistry is gone. You know what I'm saying? They need a number one receiver. And the AFC West is now becoming what the NFC West used to be. It's becoming a juggernaut. Just alone with the quarterbacks that I named, that's enough to make you go, oh, shit. Now you got Courtland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, Travis Kelce. With the Chargers, you still got Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. Like this, man, the AFC West is about to be competitive as hell. I might just get Sunday ticket to watch AFC West games. Shout out to my boy Breezy. He's the first one that I heard say that. So, I might really just get Sunday ticket. I mean, it's only $10 a month. It ain't gonna hurt my pocket that bad. But it's insane, man, that's the case. Like, AFC West is about to be rolling. So let's get in here, man. Let's take a look and see what's been happening. So we're going to start with the Buffalo Bills. We are starting with the AFC East. Buffalo Bills. They have Jake Kumerow re-signing on a one-year deal per his agent. Isaiah McKenzie, another wide receiver, re-signing on a 2-year deal worth $8 million. That's about $4 million. They got O.J. Howard on a 1-year deal. They got offensive guard Roger Saffold, 1-year deal. Looks like a center, Mitch Morse, signed a 2-year deal worth $19.5 million. Extension that includes $12 million guaranteed. His pay for the 2022 season increases to $11.5 million from $8.5. So we just got about $3 million more. They signed Zach Lawson to a 2-year contract. They signed Daquan Jones to a 2-year contract. Tim Settle, another defensive tackle, 2-year, $9 million deal that has a max value of $10.6 million per Mike Garafolo. Von Miller. Now, let me preface this by saying Von Miller won he won a Super Bowl, and immediately after that, he said, I want the bag. Like, he straight up told people, I want money. That's what I'm going for, baby. So Von Miller is a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Okay? Not to be played with. He won it with the Rams. He won it with the Broncos. We all know the Broncos defense won that damn Super Bowl. Peyton Manning didn't win shit. He rolled the back of that defense because he was a shell of himself. It's no disrespect to the man. But at the point in time, he was not the full leader of the team. He wasn't the reason they were winning. So, Von Miller, 6-year, $120 million contract. That man got $51 million in guarantees. That averages out to $17.5 million per year through the first 4 years. Typically, a player at Von Miller's age and where he's headed, you don't get them kind of deals. Why? Because people always try to put you out the pasture a little too early. They want to take you out back like Old Yeller and give you the bullet to the head and say that your career is over. You're not worth it. It's not good enough. Von Miller said, fuck all of that. And let me tell you something. Just by those moves that I told you, and I still got one more to go. So they signed a cornerback named Saren Neal. He re-signed the deal. 3-year deal worth a maximum of $10.9 million. So that's roughly around about $3 million a year, depending on what his incentives is and all the other things that are put into that contract. Here's what I'm going to tell you, though. The Buffalo Bills are not playing. Like, they want to go to the fucking Super Bowl. And just with those names I just gave you right now, it's a hard sell saying they ain't going nowhere. Shaq Lawson, Von Miller, O.J. Howard. So now you have a viable tight end. Now you have another pass rushing threat. And they signed 3 defensive tackles. Shaq Lawson was a beast when he was playing with the Bucs. So you enticed all these dudes, man. It's insane. So let's move on and keep rolling with the AFC, the AFC East. This is crazy. So, Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins now have signed a ton of people. Yeah, that's true, Jerome. That is what Rodgers' greedy ass get because you couldn't pay Devontae 28 and then pay Aaron 40. The salary cap is only $208 million. So you're gonna get them two right there. What is that? $68 million? So that's almost 70. So let's just round up. $70 million. So then the rest of that is just for the other team. This is why, some people are being cut. This is why they're going to be casualties, people. I keep trying to tell y'all. So let's move on. Miami Dolphins. Shout out to Mike McDaniels, previously a offensive coordinator on staff, although us as 49er fans know he wouldn't call no goddamn plays. He probably just had input, but shout out to him. He does have a job. He is the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. He secured that spot this offseason. Congratulations to him and his family. And he wouldn't poach the whole goddamn staff and along with players. So let's get into the players that went to the Miami Dolphins. Do to him. Teddy Bridgewater signed a 1 year, $6.5 million deal, fully guaranteed, worth up to $10 million with incentives. The reason that you see incentives on Teddy Bridgewater's contract is because Tua usually isn't always the healthiest guy. So they know he's going to play at some point. And hey, it makes sense. You have Tua, you have Teddy. You can still run the same exact system. You don't have to switch it up. And Teddy is very safe with the ball. So $6.5 million for that kind of backup, it's a difference. You know what I mean? It's you have to pay him because he's a vet. And at the same time, you want to make sure that's it right there. So let's take a look here. The next signing that we have is Chase Edmonds, running back. 2 year, $12.6 million contract that includes $6.1 million guaranteed. Raheem the Dream Mostert, he signed a 1 year deal worth $3.125 million. And we all know Raheem Mostert. We all know that he has that gear that no one can reach because nobody has topped it ever. 23.09 miles per hour. He's the fastest man in the NFL ever since people were being tracked with the chips in their shoulders. Of course, if you go back in the day and we were to have this type of technology, we may have had some people that were challenging that. You never know. Yeah, hey, look, man, congrats to A-Rod on getting your bread, but you screwed yourself royally, man. Sometimes it's my boy at work, man, he told me that if a quarterback is taking up more than 12.5% of your cap, you don't win the Super Bowl. This is why the Packers haven't won the fucking Super Bowl. Just saying. So, what's happening, Roy boy? Next guy, Alec Ingold. He's a fullback, signed a 2 year deal worth up to $7.5 million. Now, let me tell you why they signed a fullback. Because they're trying to do the same shit we doing in San Francisco. Kyle has a bunch of kids running around the fucking league, and they all doing the same thing. Trying to do what? Emulate his system. He's the master of it, but there are, offspring from that coaching tree. It's the same way with Bill Walsh, who was the inventor of the West Coast offense. So you have to think about it, man. It's going to continue. People are going to recycle shit. So you will see some things. So the cool thing for Raheem, he ain't got to do shit different. He just come in and probably going to learn the system. They may create a few different wrinkles, but at the same time, in that same moment, he's going to be running the same system. It's not going to be much different. So you just got to pay attention to it. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, Brandon. We when we get to us, it's going to be pathetic to read anything. So they signed wide receiver Trent Sherfield. He was a previous 49er. He was with us last year, and he was a special teams ace. And he was the person who scored the first touchdown for the 49ers of the 2021 season. So that was from Trey Lance to Trent Sherfield. First touchdown we scored against the Detroit Lions, that was the connection. All preseason, what did you see? Trey Lance to Trent Sherfield. I was there at that game against Kansas City for the first preseason game, and I watched that bomb in real fucking time. Like, these are things that happen, but you got to think about it. What is he doing? Getting players who are familiar with the system. Why would you not want to go play for Mike McDaniel when you know that there's a high probability of you getting on the field? Because right now, currently, the only receiver that they have there is the kid, shit. His name escapes me. But he's bad. He's a cold motherfucker. They have a kid in Miami that's awesome. Shit, I can't remember his name. Somebody put it in the chat if y'all remember. Preston Williams, wide receiver, signed a 1-year deal up to $1.99 million. Cedric Wilson, another wide receiver, signed a 3-year, $22.8 million deal that includes $12.75 million guaranteed per Mike Garafolo, Tom Pelissero, and Ian Rappaport. Mike Gesicki, tight end, he signed his franchise tag, so he'll be getting paid top dollar. Offensive guard Connor Williams signed a 2-year, $14 million deal that includes $7.5 million guaranteed. Defensive end Emmanuel Agba re-signed a 4-year, $65.4 million that will pay him $32.7 million over the first 2 years, per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. Linebacker Duke Riley re-signing on a 1-year, $3 million deal. Linebacker Elandon Roberts re-signing a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. So the names that you can pull out there are going to be Teddy Bridgewater, Raheem Mostert, Trent Sherfield, and Mike Gesicki, and of course Emmanuel Agba. So they had a nice little situation there, man. They've been working. They moving in free agent. They shaking and moving, and then they got the money. Like the Dolphins, they got the bread, baby. They got they had the most money, the most cap space coming into free agency. So they got the bread to spend. So yeah, it ain't nothing to them, man. You know, the money ain't nothing. You know, it's Jay-Z and Jermaine Dupri, man. You know, when the Ferrari, the Jaguar switching four lanes, top down, screaming about money ain't a thing, going hard with the double law, flash the rigs. Like that's basically what Miami is doing. They ain't even tripping. So let's shoot over to the New England Patriots. So they re-signed Brian Hoyer. He's the mainstay there. We all know that. They gave James White, he signed a 2-year, $5 million deal that includes $500,000 guaranteed. Now, let me tell you something. The one reason I don't like Patriots because they frugal as shit. But the thing is, James White, you could have probably got more money elsewhere, brother. You look, man, 2-year, $5 million, you only getting $2.5 million a year. That ain't much. All right, so center / offensive guard James Ferentz, he re-signed linebacker Mack Wilson, acquired in a trade with the Cleveland Browns in exchange for Chase Winovich. Cornerback Terrence Mitchell signed a free agent. Safety Devin McCourty re-signed a 1-year deal worth up to $9 million. Kicker Nick Folk signed a 2-year deal, $5 million, 2-year, $5 million extension. Includes $2.19 million guaranteed, has a max value of $5.6 million with incentives, and looks like special teams Matthew Slater, $2.6 million deals fully guaranteed. So nothing big or boastful, braggadocious about what the Patriots did. It's kind of boring. New York Jets, they re-signed Joe Flacco to a 1-year deal. Tevin Coleman signed another 1-year deal, $1.5 million, has a max value of $2.3 million, of course, with guarantees, incentives, all that good stuff. Braxton Berrios is staying with the Jets, re-signed on a 2-year deal for $12 million, per Mike Girardi. Tight end Tyler Conklin signed a free agent deal. CJ Uzomah. Now, that was the tight end over in Cincinnati. So, you know, they're trying to better their tight end core by going ahead and getting him. You know, so it's definitely going to be a good thing for him and a good thing for them. You know, let him stay healthy. He should be good to go. This is the one that hurts the most. Laken Tomlinson, 3-year, $40 million deal that includes $27 million guaranteed and has a max value of $41.2 million. The reason this hurts so much is because these are two of the former coaches of the NFL that are in the same division that are poaching our goddamn players along with the fucking coaching staff. Now, the nice thing is that Robert Saleh's been pretty nice. He's been cool. He hasn't really fucked with most of the people that we have. He's only snatched a couple of people here and there. But Mike McDaniels, he pulling everybody, man. He's stealing as many people as he can get. So the next thing is that's extremely unfortunate is I wanted Laken. And Laken he was great at left guard, man. Like, I don't care what people think or what people may say about Laken Tomlinson, but hey, man, the dude did his thing. He was definitely great at left guard, and it's hard for us to try to replace that. And I know some people were saying, well, Aaron Banks can slide in the left guard, but now you got no left guard and no right guard. We literally have Alex Mack, Mike McGlinchey, and Trent Williams. We don't have a left or right guard because our left guard left to the Jets, and our right guard is currently a free agent that has not been signed. So it's unfortunate. They signed another defensive tackle, Nathan Shepard, linebacker Jacob Martin, 3-year, $13.5 million deal. DJ Reed is signed a 3-year, $33 million contract. DJ Reed got 33. A man making $11 million a year. All right, DJ, go get your bread, baby. Jordan Whitehead signed a 2-year contract worth $14.5 million. LaMarcus Joyner, defensive back, just re-signed. So a couple little things. You know what I mean? DJ Reed getting paid. So that's another guy who's familiar with 49ers, familiar with Saleh. All of those things come into play. So AFC North, Baltimore Ravens are quiet. They're about just as quiet as we are. They signed Morgan Moses, offensive tackle, to a 3-year, $15 million deal per Mike Garafolo. Michael Pierce signed a 3-year, $16.5 million deal per Ian Rappaport. He's a defensive tackle. And safety Marcus Williams. Now, he was from the New Orleans Saints. Now, we knew it was going to be a couple people getting let go by the Saints because the Saints ain't got no money, and they still in cap hell. They still in purgatory. Even with all the restructures and all the money they moving around, it is still a hard sell for them to be able to get these guys on the field. So, with that being said, Marcus Williams, man, 5 years, $70 million contract that includes $37 million guaranteed. So, hey, he went out and still got the bag regardless, man. You know, so I can't knock him, man. And he is a really good safety. So, the Cincinnati Bengals, they got a lot of money, too. So, they signed QB Brandon Allen on a 1-year deal. He's just a backup for Joe Burrow because, Joe Burrow is not going anywhere unless he winds up getting injured, God forbid. Tight end Hayden Hurst, 1-year deal. That's probably to replace CJ Uzomah. Offensive guard Alex Kappa, 4-year deal worth $35 million. That includes $20 million over the first 2 years and $1 million in Pro Bowl incentives each year per James Palmer and Mike Garafolo. Offensive lineman Ted Karras signed a 3-year, $18 million contract per Ian Rappaport. So he signed 2 guards. Signed 2 offensive linemen. I apologize. Defensive tackle B.J. Hill re-signed a 3-year, $30 million deal. It includes $15 million guaranteed. Not $15 million guaranteed, $15 million in year 1 per Ian Rappaport. Jesse Bates got the franchise tag. Michael Thomas is defensive back, signing a 1-year contract with the Bengals per Tom Pelissero. And the long snapper, Clark Harris, no one cares. So we shout over to the Cleveland Browns. Now, here's what's interesting about the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns went ahead and talked with Deshaun Watson. So because they talked with Deshaun Watson, that pissed off Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield said, fuck that, I want to trade. Cleveland said, if we ain't getting Deshaun, you ain't going no goddamn where. So sit tight, shut up, do your progressive commercials, and keep on moving with life because you ain't going nowhere. That's basically exactly how that happened. So right now, currently, Cleveland's off season. They signed Amari Cooper. They got him in a trade with Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 5th-round pick and a swap of 6th-rounders. Now, let me tell you, that's actually a really, really good deal because Amari Cooper was worth a little bit more than that. You know what I mean? You just got to keep him healthy and he can continue to produce. But you put Amari Cooper out there with Peoples-Jones. You still got Jarvis Landry. There's a lot going on. So, Cleveland can still win. They gave David Njoku the franchise tag. Chase Winovich spoke about him earlier. He was inquired with the trade in New England. Defensive tackle Taven Bryan agreed to a 1-year deal for $5 million. Linebacker Anthony Walker re-signed a 1-year deal. We're going to move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dwayne Haskins signed original round restricted free agent tender worth $2.54 million. Mitchell Trubisky signed a 2-year deal worth $14.25 million. Worth up to $27 million in incentives. So what that tells me about those 2 QBs being signed is there's going to be some competition over there in Pittsburgh, and they're going to try to figure out who's going to be the quarterback of the future. Is it Dwayne Haskins? Is it Duck Hodges? Is it Mason Rudolph? Or is it Mitchell Trubisky? We'll see. We don't know. But the next thing is offensive tackle Chukwuma Okorafor signed a 3-year, $29.25 million deal with $20 million guaranteed per Mike Garafolo. James Daniels signed a 3-year, $26.5 million deal. These are both one's offensive tackle, the other guy's an offensive guard per Tom Parasolo and Mike Garafolo. Offensive lineman Mason Cole, 3-year contract. Miles Jack signed a 2-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, what was confusing to me is why did Jacksonville allow Miles Jack to walk? That was what was very confusing. But hey, he's a Steeler now, man, and that's linebacker you over there. I tell you right now, bro, Miles Jack ain't gonna do nothing to get better over there. Okay, and that's UCLA, so you gotta respect it. Linebacker Robert Spillane received right of first refusal tender for $2.433 million. Cornerback Arthur Mollett re-signing on a 2-year deal. Cornerback Levi Wallace, 2-year contract. They have Akello Witherspoon signing a free agent contract. Miles Kilbrew re-signed. He's a safety, $4 million deal for two years. So you got a couple of little guys there. You know, we know who a few of those dudes are. Obviously, 49er land, we know about Akello Witherspoon. But it is what it is. So we're going to slide over to the AFC South. Now, this list just got ridiculously long because I didn't know that the Texans were this goddamn busy. So the Texans have signed quarterback Jeff Driscoll on a 1-year deal. Running back Royce Freeman, 1-year contract. Running back Dare Ogunbowale signed a 2-year, $3.3 million deal. Wide receiver Chris Conley, 1-year deal, $2 million contract that includes $750,000 guaranteed per Tom Pelissero. The other one was per Rappaport Mike Garafolo. Tight end Farrell Brown, 1-year deal up to $4 million per Ian Rappaport. Offensive tackle Cedric Ogbute. I'm not even going to try it. He signed a 1-year deal. Offensive lineman Justin Britt. He agreed on the terms of a contract. AJ Cann is another offensive lineman, 2-year deal, $10.5 million with $4.5 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle Malik Collins, 2-year, $17 million deal, $8.5 million guaranteed. Linebacker Blake Cashman, acquired in a trade with the Houston Texans in exchange for a 2023 6th-round pick. Linebacker Christian Kirksey, 2-year deal worth $10 million, $4 million guaranteed. Another linebacker. Oh, boy, they got some Africans on this team because these names, I don't know. There's another linebacker he signed. Jalen Reeves-Maven signed a 2-year, $7.5 million deal, $5 million guaranteed at signing. Deals up to $9 million with incentives per Tom Pelissero. Safety Terrence Brooks is on a 1-year deal for $2 million. Safety MJ Stewart, 1-year, $3 million contract. Defensive back Desmond King, 2-year, $7 million deal. So let's go to the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts re-signed Mo Alley Cox to a 3-year, $18 million deal. Offensive tackle Matt Pryor re-signed on a 1-year, $5.5 million deal with a max of $6 million with incentives. Defensive end Tyquan Lewis re-signed a 1-year deal for $3 million. Defensive end Yannick Ngakoue acquired in a trade from the Las Vegas Raiders in exchange for cornerback Rock Ya-Sin. Linebacker Zaire Franklin re-signed with the Colts, and cornerback Brandon Facyson agreed to a 1-year deal for $3.84 million. The other big thing that happened with the Colts strictly is the trading of Carson Wentz to the Washington Commanders. They didn't like the fact that Wentz didn't want to get the vaccine. They felt like he was not a good leader, and they shipped him right out of town. So a lot of people are thinking that they could be in the market for Jimmy Garoppolo. Me personally, I don't know. I don't know if there is a market for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I'll tell you why. Because he ain't been moved, and this is some bullshit. Aaron Rodgers didn't move. Russell Wilson didn't move. Deshaun Watson is back on the market. Like every domino that we technically needed to fall fell, and he's still on his fucking team. And I don't know what the fuck is going on in the front office or why they dragging their feet on this bullshit. But I said it before, I'll say it again. If Jimmy Garoppolo is our quarterback for this year, I will not be watching 49er football. And you will not see me if I'm doing any podcasts, it's just because I'm doing it on the NFL. I'll switch this podcast up because I can't take another year of Jimmy fucking Garoppolo. I truthfully can't. And I don't want nothing. You know, Debo just tweeted saying conference getting easy and easier by the day. We talk about that tonight for sure. Yes, we definitely will. So let's slide over to the Jacksonville Jaguars. They signed a wide receiver, Zay Jones, to a 3-year, $24 million contract, has a max value of $30 million. They signed wide receiver Christian Kirk. We all know the controversy surrounding Christian Kirk. Christian Kirk was suspended by the NFL for a period of time. I forgot, I think it's like 6 games, due to him betting on the games. But hey, he bet on himself and he got paid. Christian Kirk signed a 4-year, $72 million contract that includes $37 million fully guaranteed and has a max value of $84 million. Tight end Evan Ingram, 1-year deal. Offensive tackle Cam Robinson, franchise tag. Offensive guard Brandon Scherff, 3-year, $49.5 million deal that includes $30 million fully guaranteed and $33 million over the first 2 years. So basically, after 2 years, they out of that contract. They don't have to pay him for the 3rd year if they don't want to. But Brandon Scherff is a good addition to that offensive line, which was terrible last year. They signed another offensive lineman, Tyler Shatley. He re-signed a 2-year deal, $6.8 million with $2.35 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi signed a 3-year, $30 million deal that includes $20 million guaranteed. Linebacker Foye Oluokun signed a 3-year, $45 million deal that includes $28 million fully guaranteed and has a max value of $46.5 million. I don't know who this is or why he got that kind of money, but I need to look into this dude. Trey Herndon signed a free agent contract, defensive back, and another defensive back, Darius Williams, signed a 3-year, $30 million deal, $18 million guaranteed, max value of $39 million, obviously with incentives. Slide over to the Tennessee Titans. Not much going on. Jeff Swain agreed to a 1-year, $3.5 million extension with all but a $100,000 workout bonus fully guaranteed. $100,000 workout bonus. Center Ben Jones re-signed a 2-year, $14 million deal. Offensive lineman Jamarco Jones agreed to terms on a multi-year contract. Harold Landry re-signed 5-year, $87.5 million extension with $52.5 million guaranteed per Tom Pelissero. Morgan Cox, long snapper, agreed to a 1-year extension. Long snappers don't make a ton of money. They just, it's not a place that they do. The other thing about the Tennessee Titans is they decided to go ahead and get rid of Julio Jones. They released that man. I don't understand why. I mean, maybe it's due to the fact that he wasn't able to stay healthy. Julio hasn't been healthy over the past couple of seasons, and he was moved to the Tennessee Titans. So they didn't necessarily get a lot out of him versus what they gave up. But, hey, decisions are decisions. AFC West. This is the division that I was speaking in reference to when we first started the video. Insane what's going on in the AFC West. So let's just jump right on into it, man. This is going to be flat out fucking crazy. Russell Wilson acquired in a trade with the Seattle Seahawks along with the 4th-round pick for 2 first-round picks, 2 second-rounders, a 5th-rounder, QB Drew Lock, tight end Noah Fant, and defensive tackle Shelby Harris, per Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport. Offensive tackle Calvin Anderson re-signed a 1-year deal. Defensive end Randy Gregory, who previously was a Cowboy, signed a 5-year, $70 million deal that includes $28 million guaranteed per Mike Garafolo. Defensive tackle DJ Jones, a prior 49er, signed a 3-year deal worth up to $30 million. That includes $20 million guaranteed. So that man has a nice chunk of change in his pocket. Appreciate you, DJ. We love you. I wish you could have stayed, but we didn't have that money. Why? Because we don't want to move Jimmy. It is what it is, though. Unfortunately, we just have to keep dealing with the bullshit that the front office throws in our faces, fans. So, linebacker Josie Jewell signed a 2-year deal. Linebacker Malik Reed received first right of refusal tender. So we'll move on. Kansas City Chiefs. QB Chad Henne re-signing a 1-year deal for $2 million. He'll never see the field but from the sidelines or most likely in preseason, strictly based on the fact that Patrick Mahomes is usually a healthy quarterback. Offensive tackle Orlando Brown, they gave him the franchise tag because they did not want him going nowhere. DN Frank Clark signed a new 2-year, $29 million deal, has a max value of $36 million with incentives. The new deal scraps the final year of the original 5-year contract he signed in 2019, significantly lowering his cap number. Safety Justin Reed signed a 3-year, $31.5 million deal. That includes $20 million guaranteed per Ian Rappaport and Tom Pelissero. So let's move on to the Las Vegas Raiders. Running back Brandon Bolden signed a free agent contract. Defensive end Max Crosby got paid 4 years, $98 million, worth $95 million in new money and $53 million guaranteed. Chandler fucking Jones signed a deal that will pay him roughly $52.5 million over 3 years, including $34 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle Bilal Nichols signed a 2-year deal for $11 million with $9 million guaranteed. Rock Ya-Sin was inquired in the trade for Yannick Ngakoue. So you let Yannick Ngakoue go, but you keep Max Crosby and you get Chandler Jones. Not really a bad deal. Everything is working out well. So, wait a minute. Let's take a look. Quarterback Chase Daniel re-signed on a 1-year deal. We know he'd be on the sidelines. Justin Herbert's a healthy quarterback. He don't come off that field for no reason. Mike Williams, 3 years, $60 million deal. That includes $40 million fully guaranteed over the first 2 years. Christian Covington, defensive tackle, re-signed on a free agent contract. Defensive tackle Austin Johnson is expected to sign with the Chargers. Sebastian Joseph Day expected to sign a 3-year, $24 million deal with $15 million fully guaranteed. Linebacker Khalil Mack was acquired in a trade with the Los Angeles Chargers. In exchange for a 2022 second-round draft pick and a 6th-rounder. He was acquired from the Chicago Bears. Cornerback J.C. Jackson signed a 5-year, $82.5 million deal with $40 million guaranteed. Long snapper Josh Harris, $4 million 4-year deal, $5.6 million, 1.92 guaranteed. Kicker Dustin Hopkins re-signed a multi-year contract. So, looking at the scope of the AFC West, let's take a look at some of the big names. Broncos, you got Russell Wilson, Randy Gregory, and DJ Jones. Insane. The Kansas City Chiefs didn't do anything really, nothing special or spectacular. The Raiders, Chandler Jones, re-signing Max Crosby and getting Rock Ya-Sin from the Colts, great signings. For the Chargers, Mike Williams being re-signed is great. Getting Khalil Mack in a trade is fantastic. Getting J.C. Jackson off the free agent market to pair him back there with Derwin James, that's going to be a beautiful thing. So, I mean, just those names right there, man. The AFC West has become overly competitive. I know that the Kansas City Chiefs is looking going, oh, shit. So, let's move to the NFC least. Dallas Cowboys. Michael Gallup re-signing a 4-year, $57.5 million deal that includes $23 million fully guaranteed, max value of $62.5 million. The deal also includes $10 million as a signing bonus. Tight end Dalton Schultz got the franchise tag. DeMarcus Lawrence agreed to a new 3-year deal, 3-year, $40 million contract, $30 million guaranteed. Malik Hooker re-signing a 2-year deal for about $8 million, and they re-signed their long snapper. New York Football Giants have signed QB Tyrod Taylor, gave him a 2-year deal worth $11 million. Max value is $17 million with incentives. Tight end Ricky Seals-Jones, free agent contract. Offensive lineman John Feliciano signed a contract, and Mark Gianowski signed a 3-year, $20 million contract with $11.4 million guaranteed. Now, the issue with the Giants, good fucking Packers scrubbed one playoff loss at a time. You are right. Now, the issue with the Giants is we got to figure out what they're doing. We don't know if Daniel Jones is the answer or not. They definitely ain't sure about it because you wouldn't have brought in Tyrod Taylor to possibly take that man's job. So next up on the list, we've got wide receiver Philadelphia Eagles. Wide receiver Greg Ward signed a 1-year deal. Jason Kelce signed a 1-year contract worth up to $14 million. Hassan Reddick is their big signing. 3 years, $45 million, $30 million guaranteed. And has a max value of $49.5 million. Now, I will tell you this. At a previous job that I worked at, I did come across Hassan Reddick's information. And I will tell you this. The man manages his money very well. Just know that. He ain't never going to be broke. And then they signed some defensive back named Andre Shasheri. He got a 1-year deal. Last but not least, the Washington Commanders, QB Carson Wentz acquired in a trade with the Indianapolis Colts. We all know what that entailed. Running back J.D. McKissick re-signed a 2-year deal for $7 million. Wide receiver Cam Sims is there. Offensive guard Andrew Norwell expected to sign with the Commanders, which is a good thing because they always need offensive line help. Defensive back Bobby McCain re-signed a 2-year deal for $11 million. Let's move to the AFC North. The Dub Bears, offensive guard Lucas Patrick, 2-year deal, $8 million, $4 million guaranteed in year 1. Larry Ogunjobi, 3-year, $40.5 million deal. Nicholas Morrow, linebacker, 1-year deal, and they re-signed their long snapper. Detroit Lions, they brought in 2 quarterbacks, David Blow and Tim Boyle. David Blow re-signing on a 1-year, $1.35 million deal. Tim Boyle, 1-year, $2 million deal. That includes $1.75 million guaranteed. Wide receiver DJ Chark, good thing for them. Signed a 1-year, $10 million deal, fully guaranteed. Wide receiver Khalif Raymond. Wide receiver Josh Reynolds. So they're trying to add to their receiving core, which is a good thing. Reynolds got a deal with that's worth a max of $12 million over 2 years. And center/offensive guard Edwin Brown re-signed a 1-year deal for $2.025 million, maximum value of $3.025 million, with of course incentives. DN Charles Harris signed a 2-year deal worth $14 million. Linebacker Alex Anzalone re-signed a 1-year deal, $2.25 million. Let's see here. We have safety Tracy Walker re-signed a 3-year deal. That includes 17 re-signed on a 3-year deal, $25 million, and includes $17 million guaranteed. CJ Moore re-signed on a 1-year deal worth up to $2.4 million, $800,000 of it is guaranteed. And last but not least, next up, the Packers. Aaron Rodgers signed an extension that pays $150 million over the next 3 years with $101 million guaranteed. Tom Pellis said the new deal drops his salary cap hit about $18 million. Devontae Adams received a franchise tag, and Ed did tell everybody that he was not playing on a franchise tag, and as I said earlier, he has been traded to the Raiders, where he is getting broke the fuck off. That man's getting money. Alan Lazard got a 2nd-round tender. Devondre Campbell signed a 5-year deal. He's a linebacker worth up to $50 million. Preston Smith, 4-year contract extension, $52.5 million in new money. In all, Smith gets more than $65 million over 5 years, with the chance to make $71 million, most likely their incentives. Punter Pat McDonald is there. And now, last but not least, for the for that division. QB Kirk Cousins, 1 year, $35 million, fully guaranteed extension that puts him under contract through 2023. Reduces cap number by almost $14 million. Defensive lineman Harrison Phillips, 3 year, $19.5 million contract, $8.5 million in year one, $13 million guaranteed overall. Linebacker Jordan Hicks, 2 year, $10 million deal, max value of $12 million, including $6.5 million guaranteed, and they signed a punter named Jordan Berry. So the issue for me is Kirk Cousins is never going to get you a Super Bowl. So you need to stop paying the guy. You need to find a franchise quarterback that can lead you to the damn Super Bowl. But Kirk Cousins ain't to do. NFC South. Let's take a look. The Falcons have done much of nothing. They signed Jake Matthews, 3 year extension, $52.5 million over the first 3 years, reduces his cap number. Cornerback Casey Hayward, 2 year, $11 million contract. Good thing. Kicker Young Ho Koo signed a 5 year, $24.5 million contract extension with $11.5 million guaranteed. So, moving on to the Panthers, running back Deontay Foreman, previously with the Tennessee Titans, signed a 1 year deal. Wide receiver Brandon Zylstra, 1 year contract. Offensive guard Austin Corbett, 3 year deal worth $29.25 million. Defensive end Marcus Haynes, Damian Wilson, safety Sean Chandler, safety Xavier Woods. He got a 3 year, $15.5 million deal with $15.75 million. And kicker Zane Gonzalez, 2 year, $4.5 million contract. New Orleans Saints, because they haven't done much of anything, and they can't because they don't have any damn money. David Street signed with them, and Marcus May is a safety. He agreed to a 3 year deal worth $28.5 million, $15 million guaranteed. QB. Moving on to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady has announced he'll come back. He is out of retirement. Offensive guard Shaq Mason acquired in a trade with the New England Patriots. Russell Gage, wide receiver, he'll be there. Chris Godwin received the franchise tag. Godwin and the Bucks later worked out a 3 year, $60 million deal with $40 million guaranteed at signing. Wide receiver Rashad Perryman, 1 year deal. Offensive guard Aaron Stinney, same thing. Ryan Jensen re-signed 3 year, $39 million deal, includes $23 million guaranteed. Carlton Davis re-signing defensive back, $45 million for 3 years. That includes $30 million guaranteed. And let's get to the NFC West. Arizona Cardinals gave Colt McCoy another contract. James Conner is back on a 3 year, $21 million extension that includes $16 million over the first 2 years. Zach Ertz is staying on a 3 year, $31.65 million deal. That includes $17.5 million guaranteed. Another tight end, Max Williams, Michael Dogby, Dennis Gardick, and Jeff Gladney, a defensive back. They all signed deals. Dennis Gardick, he got a 3 year deal. The Rams have signed Allen Robinson to a 3 year, $46.5 million deal that includes $30.7 million fully guaranteed. And they signed offensive tackle Joe Noteboom on a 3 year deal, $40 million, and it's $25 million guaranteed, max value of $47.5 million. Brian Allen as their center, he signed a 1 year deal. We know Andrew Whitworth retired. So the 49ers, 1 year deal for JaMycal Hasty. Oren Burke signed a 2 year contract. Charvarius Ward signed a 3 year, $40.5 million contract. Now, just to touch on the 49ers really, really quick, strictly based on the fact that they haven't done much of anything. As you see, there's 3 players. Charvarius Ward, okay. Oren Burks, don't know who the fuck he is. Watched his press conference today. He looked like he should be in a fucking legal office rather than on a football field. That's all I'm saying. Moving on. Seattle Seahawks. They acquired Drew Lock when they traded Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. Of course, we all know exactly how that worked. They re-signed Will Dissly to a 3 year, $24 million contract. They've got Noah Fant, Austin Blythe, a center is signing a 1-year, $4 million deal. Shelby Harris acquired in trade. Al Woods re-signed on a 2-year, $9 million contract that includes $4.7 million, $75 million guaranteed. Defensive tackle Al Woods, 2-year, $9 million deal. Uchenna Nwosu, 2-year, $20 million deal that includes $10.5 million guaranteed. Cornerback Artie Burns, $2 million deal. Cornerback Sidney Jones re-signed on a 1-year deal, $3.6 million, at the max of $4.4. And Quandre Diggs re-signed a 3-year, $40 million deal. So that is any and every signing so far that has happened this offseason. We have had a couple of guys retract their statements and basically say, no, I don't want to sign with you guys. So it's definitely the craziest thing in the world when you kind of look at what's been going on in the offseason in the NFL. And it hurts us as 49er fans because every single year we're lazy and do much of nothing and don't sign anyone. Or we wait until the end and we go out and get the scraps. So that's basically what it is. Looks like someone named Diana Rossini said, I'm told once the Adams trade becomes official, Green Bay is expected to sign Rasul Douglas. That's a little crazy. Falcons have now pushed back $7.5 million roster bonus due Friday to Matt Ryan to Tuesday, giving Atlanta 4 extra days to hear the Deshaun Watson decision and be able to trade Ryan if necessary per league sources. And this is all coming from Adam Schefter's Twitter page. Bears are giving former Chiefs wide receiver Byron Pringle a 1-year, $6 million deal, including $4 million guaranteed. Packers are getting back 2022 first and second round picks in return for Devontae Adams. So yeah, man, there's just been a lot going on. It's insane that this happened, and everything that's been going on in the offseason has been crazy. But those are the guys for the free agency period right now. That's basically what's been going on. If there's anything else that comes up, any more blockbuster trades, I will definitely try to keep you guys abreast to what's going on. As of right now, man, we're going to go ahead and end the show on that one. Those are all the free agents, and tell you right now, the AFC West is extremely competitive. Along with the AFC is just going to be competitive in general because the AFC West got crazy competitive with all of the guys that they have, and I believe it's the AFC East that got more competitive as well. Outside of the Patriots, who didn't really do much and didn't sign anybody big, the Jets going ahead and getting C.J. Uzomah and Laken Tomlinson to shore up the offensive line, DJ Reed, Jordan Whitehead, Braxton Berrios staying along with them. So those are good signings. When it comes to the Miami Dolphins, once again, getting Teddy Bridgewater, Trent Sherfield, Mike Gesicki, keeping him, Emmanuel Ogbah. Those are good signings. The Buffalo Bills getting O.J. Howard, keeping Roger Saffold, Shaq Lawson coming along, Daquan Jones, having Von Miller in there. Those are all formidable signings. So these teams are definitely looking to get better. But that is all I got for you as of right now. As free agency continues to roll on and the guys, keep falling off the board, I will keep you up to date on what's going on. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate y'all. I love y'all.